Alright, we got another one to Verd, and this is an interesting one. It's a close one, a lot closer than I was expecting. We've got Marco versus Key Anthony, and it's a big one, 5 bars. Obviously some beef here that I think started recently over on RA, Rap Academics, if I'm not mistaken. Right, let's get into it. I've already had multiple read-throughs of both of these, because, yeah, this one's close. So I did something I don't normally bother to do. I copy-pasted both verses over into Microsoft Word, which I do anyway because I'm checking a word count. So this is Marco's verse, and I've gone through and deleted everything I didn't love, and this leaves the standout moments for me. Until he battled me, key cards didn't have access to even open doors. That was fucking nice. In retrospect, he was too pussy to jump man, but the St. Jordan gear. I had to think about that for a second, and then I caught the quote marks around retro, and it all ties together, and I was like, yep, nice. Your lines wouldn't stick with a sharp point, even if you're forced to spear. That's one of those ones I've heard many versions of that over the years, but that's not a bad example of it. It's nice and clean and simple. Gets to the point, pun intended. 4, that's why BRB grounds are key elements, but he ain't the most important there. Key elements, but you ain't the most important there. That's nice. So we've got the key elements, nice little name flip, and then we've got the double entendre, we've got the flip, the subversion of expectations on that, as we go from saying he's key elements and then saying but he ain't the most important there. It's nice. There's like a couple of little layers to that. And this, a headshot will put your face and thoughts in your palm quick like you're going through hardships. Holy fuck, bro. A headshot will put your face and thoughts in your palm quick like you're going through hardships. So, stop. Think about it. You're going through hardships. You're depressed. What do people do? They sit there with their chin in their palm, right? I actually suspect... I got a sneaking suspicion because I gave Marcus shit about his profile picture, about resting his chin on his palm in his fucking profile picture and saying that shit don't make you wise like a Greek statue like you think it makes you look. I just wonder if I made that fucking comment and Marco got thinking about that and came up with that bar. Let me know. Do I get fucking co-authorship credit on that one? I'm curious. But that is fucking nice. 6. It's ready to air shit out when I blow it, just like a cartridge. Talking about his strap, of course, ready to air shit out when I blow it, just like a cartridge. I would have preferred that there was a more complex multi going on with this, but the concept, the execution, the punch are really nice, clean, simple. I just would have given a bonus point for a more complex multi. Because we wouldn't see Key swinging in a loop even if it was on a janitor's belt. Swinging in a loop. Bruh. I fucking love these little audio references, like keeping it fucking old school, keeping text battling, in its roots, of actual fucking life battling over a beat. That's nice. We wouldn't see Key swinging in a loop even if it was on a janitor's belt. That's nice. Right, now we've got Key's verse. And it'll give you the Bismarck, Key ain't even just a friend. This confused the fuck out of me. Because you said and it'll give you the Bismarck. And I was like, oh yeah, Bismarck. Nazi German battleship. Scourge of the Seven Seas. And it's like, Key ain't even just a friend. And I was like, what? And then I read the expo. If you hadn't put this expo here, I would have completely fucking missed it. I've never actually heard this track. Never even heard of this artist. Never heard of Bismarcky, right? So I was just completely thrown for a loop here because I read Bismarck and I was like, yeah, I understand what's going on. He's talking about the German battleship. So, I was thinking something about the shells landing and, fucking send you to the bottom, or maybe this guy's white and he was going to say something about the hood. I don't know. But then he says this and I'm like, what? And then I realised, normally I fucking hate punchlines that I have to go and Google, right? But he's folded this punchline across two lines on either side of what would be a snare drum. And it's got, like a little level of extra complexity to it that I really kind of fuck with. And when they connect, it'll be monumental how they landmark. It's nice. And they're going to find markdown in the store, like a price drop. Again, that's fucking nice, right? Not going to lie. These are some nice fucking punchlines. 4. I'll put money on your dome and price you up. Now you can walk around with a bag on your head. Shia LaBeouf. Now, I fucking cracked up laughing for real when I read this the first time. And I'm not even up to the play with what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know anything about Shia LaBeouf walking around with a bag on his fucking head. But we all know Shia LaBeouf has done so much fucking retarded crazy shit that I don't even need to go Google it, right? Shia LaBeouf has done so much fucking crazy zany comical shit, so much cringe shit, that you could say anything. You could say absolutely anything and then put ... Shia LaBeouf at the end, and I just assume it's real, alright? Put money on your dome or price you up, you walk around with a bag on your head. Shia LaBeouf. And then he continues a consistent scheme all through this bar with this whole thing, and then he moves into, you'll get capped with a trace around and there won't be any trace around after they line you up. I thought it was just, you'll get capped with a trace around and there won't be any trace around after they line you up. And I thought, yeah, that was cool, like cool flow, a little bit of fucking swag internal. And then I realised, trace around, there won't be any trace around after they line you up. And I'm 99% sure the guy's talking about a chalk outline, right? So there's a nice little layer to that. And a lot of people would just do this in the usual text manner, where they would use trace around once, and they would either write trace around and then they would put trace around in brackets as expo, or they'd write trace around and they'd put trace around in brackets. But this guy's actually used both. He's used both spellings and both contexts. And I tend to do the same thing a lot. Mind you, I write for audio, but I tend to do the same thing a lot where why waste it, right? I'll use both versions. So that's nice. I fucks with that. Clip shaped like a comma, so when I raise it, it looked like an apostrophe. I had to stop and think about that for a cool moment. And I was like, right, yeah, a comma and an apostrophe are, at least, on a keyboard and digital text, they're the same shape, just one is at the fucking baseline and one is at the top line. It's not that hard, right? Like it's not that fucking gangster. But it's just one of those bars that makes you stop and think and go, fuck is this guy talking about? And then you realise, oh yeah, a comma and an apostrophe, they're the same thing. They're just sitting on different levels of the line. It's one of those why have I never thought of that moments. So it's not the hardest bar, but I think it's a really clever bar. I caught him on the strip, then it was a green light, like a drag race. This is one of these ones, you know, probably heard quite a few different versions of this over the years, but this is a nice, clean, lean example, right? This is how you do it without a whole bunch of fucking long-winded setup, without a whole bunch of extraneous words. He just gets to the point, he says what needs to be said, and does it cleanly. He got something sent to him from a black can, like Axe spray. This is nice too. Got something sent to him from a black can, like Axe spray. Now, I've heard so many fucking Axe body spray bars over the years, like so many, and I've used a few, and I've always seen it done the other way, where, you know, I'll take the axe to your torso. That's always how it's done. And this guy has taken a really played, really tired reference that was retired in, you know, the fucking early 2000s, mid 2000s, and he's flipped the opposite meaning of it. So I fuck with that. So we've got 8 standout moments from Key, and we've got 7 standout moments from Marco. What have we got? We battle me, key cards, didn't have access to even open doors, because he's talking about you're riding Marco's coattail. Retrospect, you were too pussy to jump, man, with this old Jordan gear, because it sounds like you talked some shit to Marco, so he sent you his address and said, show the fuck up on my porch, bitch. Nice. I could have told you Marco's been keeping it real since the fucking early 2000s. Your lines wouldn't stick with a sharp point even if you're forced to spear. Nice. Hang on a second. I'm just going to pause. Alright. I'm back. I had to open a jar for my wife, of all things. Alright. Yeah, so we're just recapping Marco's bars here. His highlights. Yeah, this one here. A headshot will put your face and thoughts in your palm quick, like you're going through hardships. I think that's my bar of the battle. Let me have a quick look at Key's bars. Landmark, price drop, price you up, Shia LaBeouf, trace around, apostrophe, drag race, X spray. They're all nice. But that one, a headshot will put your face and thoughts in your palm quick, like you're going through hardships. That's just fucking next level. That's absolutely bar of the battle. So Marco has 7 standout moments and Key has 8 standout moments, but one of Marco's 7 is number 5 there, and that's just fucking mind-blowingly good. Where are we? Okay, so it's one of these battles. The deeper I dive, the more I try and break it down, the harder it gets, really. My first thought, Key Anthony, fuck any of his names, they all can get the suffering. A lot of jokes about a bite, will it bring the muzzle in, this is the one that pierces, ruptures skins, and it'll give you the visit. That fucking opener, man, suffering, like just one word as your multi. Suffering, muzzle in, rupture skins. Muzzle in, rupture skins, kind of getting into slant rhyming there. But just when I saw suffering, when I saw a single word that's not even like super fucking long, caps lock, as the start of your rhyme scheme, I thought, fuck, it's gonna be one of these battles. And there are actually a lot of places in Key's verse where the rhyming is actually quite basic. You know? Can spark, man charged, landmark, play it smart, wife shop, knife stop, price drop. There's some really fucking basic remedial rhyming going on here. I kind of feel like Key's style is one of those styles that would lend itself to audio more than text. Just because the text world has gotten so used to, you know, fucking 35 syllable multis for the sake of 35 syllable multis. Reading Key's verse out loud, like, it really gives me a nice fucking audio feel, or at least an a cappella feel, but more an audio on beat feel. So I understand why he's using short remedial rhymes, and I thought that was going to be a deciding factor, but I gotta say, Marco, Know This Whore, Local Store, Total Storm, Open Doors, and then Time Niglet, Sky Limit, Try Quittin', Dry Bitches, I get it. Launching, Large Clip, Cartridge. Yeah, there's also places in Marco's verse where he kind of dropped off his usual standard and also got a lot simpler with his rhyming than he normally does. I normally expect to see slightly longer multis consistently from Marco. So on this occasion, both have places where the rhyming is maybe not as standout as it could be. I think Key probably has more of those places. Alright. I think when it comes to multis, I think Marco has been more consistent for the whole battle, for the whole verse. He's off in some places, but I don't think they're as frequent or as obvious as Key's transgressions. Flow. You know, I'd give that to Key, to be fair. Marco's got some stuff here like this fucking opener, man. Look, you Briz, Jaws, bar biting ass nigga. How the fuck are you respected? The greats don't even know this, or like, fuck, we finally get to the multi. Like, dude, you've got half a fucking song already and we're only just getting to the first multi. So, you know, some of Marco's verse is pretty fucking stretched and a little bit clunky in terms of flow. Metaphors and punchlines, we've already gone through that, and you know, they're both pretty fucking neck and neck. Vocabulary, you know, neither one stands out as a dunce and neither one stands out as Hemingway. That's pretty fucking neck and neck too. This is one of those fucking verses that it'd be fucking easier to just fucking throw my hands up and say, yeah, this one's a tie, do it again. But we got to find a winner here, because you know, it's an event card match, and there's obviously some fucking beef here that these two cunts want settled. Enjoyment all comes down to those room shaking moments. And Marco has a few here, like Stick with the Sharp Point, Forced a Spear, that maybe aren't quite as hard or funny as Keys. Although, speaking of hard, that's another point, is they'll both come with aggression. You can feel the beef coming through the fucking words. I kind of feel like Marco has edged that. You know, Keys saying some shit like, I'll catch you wherever you and your wife shop, drive a blade all the way through your gut till the knife stops. It's easy to say that tough guy shit. Marco was coming with more of a disrespectful, talking about the other guy's bars, talking about him fucking biting and shit. Or sorry, reinventing somebody else's concepts. So it's very, very, very close. Extremely close. Now, consistency. Something else here I like in Keys versus DaEminent thing about this, when this metal hits you, is when the 762. Everybody takes the easy route and rhymes with AK. I don't think I've ever actually fucking seen somebody rhyme with 762 before. That's nice. But then we got stuff like this: fuck up your posture B, watch and see. We have a hunch this disc could give him back pain. This disc, I mean, that's forced as fuck. But after I beat him like a Sonic level, I bet his whole act changed. Yeah, that's okay. And maybe this is where it comes in. It's not about who was the best in the best moments. It was about who was the worst in their worst moments. You're the gun bar champ. Where's the gun bars champ? See, that I like. But then we got about how you can spark. These punchlines come with assault and battery. It's enough to get a man charged. Assault and battery charged. I kind of cringe when I fucking read that, because it's played. You know, I've seen so many assault and battery charging lines. I mean, fucking Eminem's done them. And if Eminem's done something, you don't want to try and do it too, because everybody will mentally compare your bars with Eminem bars, and that never fucking ends well for you, right? Marco's off moments. It's more about stretched bars. Although there was some shit here about a guitarist or a guitar case. Keep it in a case like a guitarist. I wasn't feeling that. When I released this rocket in Houston and launching, oh, that's okay. Yeah, no, I get it, because Key lives in Houston, right? So you're saying when I go to Houston and release this rocket, it ain't a fucking NASA launch. Okay. I don't know, man. This is really fucking close. Really fucking tight. I probably should have fucking come up with a winner before I hit record. But I guess part of the transparency is being able to hear the thought process. So, when it comes to standout moments, they're both neck and neck. I think when it comes to standout moments, Key's list of standouts is maybe a little bit more consistent than Marco's. But Marco, fuck me, man, when he lands with that fucking your head and your chin shit, that's bar of the battle right there. This is really, really close, and it just comes down to subjective opinions at this point and how things feel. Okay. And Marco's verse feels a little more consistent for me. He had a few moments that I really wasn't feeling it, but Key had a few more of them where just the pace dropped off. I wasn't quite on the edge of my seat. No, this whole first bar, this entire first bar from Key Anthony was a bit of a scrub for me. Does Marco have an entire bar that's a no-go for me? Open doors, it's nice. And the most important there. Maybe this one. The clips I'm bringing is like carolers, it's Christmas singing, how I show up at your door with flares. It's time, Niglet. How the fuck are you gonna aim at the gob when I'm above your sky limit? Really wasn't feeling that. Try quitting. You make Houston look so motherfucking corny, but I get it. The message from this pussy Texan is bland like dry bitches. I was sure you were gonna say dry biscuit there. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that whole bar either. Okay, so that's another way to separate these two that is again neck and neck. Alright. Trying to fade me. Belle Isle ride in Michigan, sliding crazy. I wasn't really loving that. It just felt a little bit clunky and too wordy in places. I think Marco is just a little more consistent for me. He's got a few off moments too, but he doesn't have as many of them, in my opinion, as Key did. They both spent most of their verse with their fucking foot firmly on the gas. They both stalled in a couple of places. But I feel like Marco was maybe a little bit more fucking consistent for the whole verse. I'm trying to look for that one thing that will actually differentiate these two. That definitive thing. I'm gonna pause this for a moment. Alright, I found it. After another 3 motherfucking rereads. That's why Marco seems more consistent. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. It's the multis. It's the rhyme schemes. Marco. Know this whore, local store, total storm, open doors. That's one bar. Dork was scared, Jordan gear, forced to spear, important there. That's another bar. Time, Niglet, sky limit, try quitting, I get it, dry bitches. That's another bar. Fraud bitch, talk slick or spark fifths. Thoughts in, palm quick, hardship. Launching, large clip, guitarist, cartridge. That's another bar. Gets a little loose there, but it's still pretty fucking consistent. Like he starts getting into slant rhyming because he starts running out of rhymes, but it's still obviously all one rhyme scheme. Final bar, bad for your health, castle will melt, land in the shelves, chastity dealt, janitor's belt. Chastity dealt is a little bit of forced grammar, a little clunky, but it's obviously because he didn't want to repeat chastity belt and janitor's belt. And then we've got Key. Suffering, muzzling, rupture skins, Bismarck, just a friend. Bismarck, just a friend, lift aim and blast, shit's lame and trash, Damon dash. I'm not sure if Bismarck is actually fucking caps locked because it's supposed to be part of the rhyme scheme, or if it's just a highlight that wordplay runs across 2 lines. But anyway, suffering, muzzling, rupture skins, just a friend, fuck his pen, lift aim and blast, shit's lame and trash, Damon dash, that's one bar. Can spark, man charge, landmark, play it smart, wife shot, knife stop, price drop, that's another bar. And you notice here we've got wife shot, knife stop, price drop, we've got 3, we've got an odd number of rhymes there. Trying to fade me, sliding crazy, guy is tough, price you up, Shia LaBeouf, trace around, line you up. So we've got a bit of a choppy A-B rhyme scheme going on. Except in places it's like A, B, 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 and other places is like A, B, B, A, A, B, A, you know. Everything else being as equal as it is, this is it. This is the peg that I can fucking hang my hat on, and finally, thank fuck, after God knows how many rereads, say I have a winner, and it's Marco. This is why it just felt more consistent, and I couldn't quite put my finger on why. It's one of those things that's so fucking obvious once you notice it. He's just got this consistent rhyme scheme going with each bar, and that's why each bar feels like a full, complete package that was planned out properly, whereas Key Anthony is again, you know, he's just chucking in whatever fucking fits, which is because he's focusing more on content and punchlines than just rhyming and flow. But as we saw with the comparison between their highlights reels, their standout moments, Marcus has been more consistent with the rhyming, and he's managed to be just as consistent with the punches and wordplays. So there you go. That's my winner today. It's Marcus. Congratulations. That was a fucking close one. Well done both of you. That was a really good read.